discussion and the Q&A then before we close out. So just a bit of information as we go along. This meeting is not going to last for more than 1.5 hours or 1 hour and 30 minutes. You are encouraged to network and share your LinkedIn profile URL in the chat, and we apologize for keeping you on mute till the Q&A time. And please use the chat to place your questions between now and when we have time for Q&A. Now, each year, the UiPath community team measures the pulse of automation professionals across the globe via a survey. It's a survey that's always sent out that contains both qualitative and quantitative questions. The goal is to understand and answer questions like how do automation professionals come into their roles, and how is their day-to-day activities like, and what they think about the future of their careers as automation professionals, and how experienced are these professionals, and how do they engage in continuous learning? What does their tech stack look like, and what impact does emerging technologies like AI have on the automation space? Now, it's worthy to note that the 2023 report we are discussing today, about 1,639 professionals across the globe from different industries participated in this survey, which was used to prepare this report. And so our thanks goes out to them, as well as the community team that powered the entire process. Now, if you're yet to download the report, Emmanuel can help us place these later on, can place this link on the chat so that you can download the report. Emmanuel, over to you. Emmanuel, we're not hearing you. Can you check whether you're muted?
Okay, can anyone hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
I didn't know I was muted. Okay, so thank you, Alfie, for that wonderful introduction. Okay, so I will just start by saying, in case you are here to look through the reports, you can download using the link Alfie will be dropping on the chat now. During today's meetup section with our panels of industrial experts, we shall be discussing the state of automation professional 2023 report. You know, this has been happening for I think over the years, but we'll be discussing 2023 reports because that is recent, which is the fourth in the series of UiPath community industry reports. To see what insights and implication for Nigeria we can extract as takeaway. There's so many things we'll be discussing today and all of that. But before we start this discussion, I would love our panel to introduce themselves. I'm going to be starting with Lade Ajayi. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Good evening, everyone. Can you see me?
Yes, we can. We can.
I'm glad to be here. It's awesome. My name is Omalade Ajayi, as you all know, and I would say I'm an automation professional with an experience of over 10 years in the financial tech space. I currently serve as the team lead of business automation in Access Bank. It's nice to be here, and it's a privilege to share my one or two thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Lade, for that brief introduction. Over to Tolu Lokwe Fashanu. Can you introduce yourself, please? We can hardly hear you. Can anyone hear Tolu?
Tolu, we can't hear you.
Is it much better now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, thank you. So Lokwe Fashanu, also an automation professional. I've been in the business for say over 5 years, I think. I currently lead the automation team at Stanbic IBTC. It's nice to link up with everyone this afternoon.
Thank you, Tolu. Kingsley, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, hi everybody. Nice to be here. My name is Kingsley Udiaga. I am also an automation professional, senior Power Platform developer, and the team lead of the Power Platform engineers in Sterling Bank. It's nice to be here. I look forward to an amazing session.
Yeah, thank you, Kingsley, for that. Over to Bukola. Bukola, Oladapo, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. My name is Bukola Oladapo, and I am also an automation professional with expertise in UiPath, Blue Prism, and Microsoft Power Tools. I've been in the industry for over 5 years. I currently serve as an intelligent automation manager and consultant with KPMG Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Bukola, for that. Finally, I want Tuluwa Lashe to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tolu Alashe Bamdele Motosho. I'm an automation engineer. I have skill sets majorly in low-code applications, process maker, robotics, process automation, also using the UiPath tool. I currently serve as the lead robotics process automation in InterSwitch, and I'm so excited to be here to have this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for that brief interesting introduction. I'll hand over to Afe.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We have to start our discussion now. First and foremost, we have a couple of discussion points, and we shall be moving across them from one point to another. Now, when I first entered into the automation space, there's this statement that was commonly repeated again and again and again, said that the banking sectors in Nigeria, or the banking sector in Nigeria is actually the first to adopt new digital technologies. And I really want to understand, I'll be taking this question to Ladi to help us. Like, in your opinion, Ladi, why do you think this statement is correct? That the banking sector in Nigeria is usually the first to adopt new digital challenges or technologies? Is it because of they want to increase their bottom line? Is it because they want to remain very competitive? What do you think are the reasons why the banking sector in Nigeria is usually the first to adopt digital technology?
Thank you for that awesome question, and good evening, everyone, once again. You've brought an intro to what I would like to say. Yes, for a bank, we would like to keep your money safe and also make do and give you value-added service without pain and without stress. And that's what technology brings to bear. But from the other aspect of it, we found out that the expectations on banks, maybe because that's where people's treasure lie, where I keep my money. So the expectation is kind of higher compared to I go to a hospital, you're even scared of the doctor. Please don't say that I have malaria or typhoid. Just treat me and go. But for a bank, the expectations of customers are kind of high. So we look for efficient and faster way of meeting their needs. And that's what technology has brought into force. So we find out that people's expectations are expressed more in the financial sector compared to other sectors like public sector or health sector. So IT in banks are forward looking because of the expectations, basically. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Emmanuel, can you help us with this?
Sure, I was trying to unmute. Okay, so the trend of the finance or banking sector also in the lead for adoption of new digital technology is clearly not only a Nigeria thing. I don't know if you have the report with you. You can check page 7 and 14.
Yeah.
I have it here with me. Okay. So we can see from these charts out that it's not just the banking that has adopted automation. Other sectors are coming up. We have insurance, healthcare, real estate, telecoms, and all of that. So I'm going to ask Casey, what do you have to say about this? Can Casey hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So the
okay.
question is, please repeat the question. The question is not just a Nigerian thing.
Yes. How will you contrast the adoption of software automation with these sectors like healthcare, public services, etc., to the rest of the world?
Okay, I think it relates very easily with the first question and the first answer that Ladi gave us, with the financial sector and the fact that there's just so much demand for security, efficiency, and since it deals with people's money, there's this demand for stuff to be done at an optimum level. So you would constantly have that demand. You constantly have it across, even more than other sectors where really maybe you can do it more of people over systems. But for banking, your systems have to be top notch. You really cannot excuse it. And when you have the growing risk of cybersecurity, fraud, you really have to be on your toes in making sure that you don't lose people's money. Because once money is in question, everybody has to be awake. So that gap is clear that there's a lot of importance in the finance sector because it's money driven and there's a lot of money involved and the risk is high. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Kingsley. I would also love to ask Bukola this same question. And the reason is this, because she's in the consulting industry presently. I don't know if, I know in consulting, she must have worked with other industry apart from banking and finance. So for Bukola, what do you think, what do you have to say regards this, that other industry are trying to adopt automation, and how will you compare it with banking?
All right. Thank you so much, Kolawole. Thank you so much, Kolawole. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, yeah, okay.
All right. So yes, very correct. I'm aligned with Ladi and Kingsley on the points that they've made. However, I would say that actually the health sector, as we've seen, and the insurance sector, they are also trying as much as they can to meet up with the increasing rates of adoption when it comes to automation in the industry. And I would say it's not, we liken it to digitalization. Apart from it being more or less not a Nigerian thing, when a season where there is cutting-edge technologies and many people are moving from one industry, you find out that maybe an IT professional in the banking industry is moving as maybe a CTO in the health sector industry. So it kind of moves the knowledge with regards to automation that he or she has in the previous industry to the new industry that is working in. So there's the drive for digitalization, and overseas there's this importance that is placed on in health sector. We might not have it here in Nigeria, but trying as much as we can. There can be limitations and all, but overseas you see that there is this importance that is placed in the health sector, ensuring that things are being done properly. In the banking industry, we're looking at lives. The risk is with regards to the finances of people, but in the health sector, we're looking at the lives. The risk is with regards to the lives of human beings. So you see that people are now driving towards ensuring that they need to do what they need to do. They need to, get acquainted with the technologies and the industry to ensure that they are also abreast of it. They adopt this automation technology so that it will help them in transitioning technologically. So I think that's a point I would raise when it comes to health sector and even in the insurance, trying to meet up with the finance or banking industry.
Okay.
Thank you, Bukola, for that insight. Afi, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Bukola. So while 75% of the respondents in the report say the organization values the work they do as automation professionals, 85% think the software automation industry has a high potential for growth over the next 3 years. And if we can see from these two charts, we see that, like I said, 75% of the respondents believe the organization values the work they do. And almost 85 of them think that the software automation industry has a high potential for growth in the next 3 years. So I want to direct my next question now to Tulu. So Tulu and Lasha are going to be helping me. So first to Tulu, would you agree that the potential for growth as predicted is actually high? Would you agree with this estimation?
Yes, I quite do. I think that especially in Nigeria, we are still kind of like the infancy stage of automation, and there's been so much growth in that regards that we have new technologies, new new waters we need to dive to. So in a nutshell, I actually do agree that there's potential for growth.
So riding on back of that response you've given, can we expect this degree of growth to be experienced in the Nigerian space? Or do you think there will be a little shift? Or what would be the degree of shift between the degree of growth as experienced globally to the degree of growth as experienced in the Nigerian space?
Okay, I think with technology, right, the gap between Nigeria and, say, the world at large, in some regards, especially when it comes to automation, it's kind of closing because we have availability to almost the same resources that is out there in most of the countries. Now, bringing it home, right, and taking automation, for example, and hammering on UiPath as it is, a lot of us, like I said, we're at the infancy stage, although we are maturing. We started with, say, for example, in banking system, you start with settlements and reconciliation, you do automations around that. Even in the banking industry, you have so many departments, so many units that can still be touched. And so you hear discussions around intelligent documents processing happening, the use of AI in what we are doing. And some have even gone as far as having communication mining being done in their banks and processing customer requests and things like that. It shows that we are tying into the technology as it is being released.
Okay.
And also, the conversation around using AIs, open AIs and all, it's also something that is being discussed every day in our system here as well.
Okay, so I want to direct my next question now, still on this same context, to Lashe. If we actually expect this growth that is being talked about, what factors do you think can mitigate against it? What factors can hinder this growth within the Nigerian space so that automation professionals are not really at par with their mates or peers around the world?
Yeah, thank you very much, Afe, for the question. Like every other thing in Nigeria, we also we are being controlled by policies, say CBN ban. This also comes from the top, say the government, for instance, right? So what can actually hinder this from top of my head is the kind of policies that are being rolled out from the top, right? From our regulators, right, which is CBN in this case. And also, if you notice, from the, pardon me, to go to, like, I saw a what's it called in question 2, the output that we got there, speaking to other sectors. And if you notice, the public sector was way low. And that is just because of the adoption of what is happening politically, right? And that they can also use that based on policies that are using that they release, can also drive the activities of what is happening in financial industry. So for in Nigeria today, if the government is also understanding the fact that technology is the way to go, right? They'll also assist in getting these tools readily available in terms of, say, facilities. Right now, most of the things that we use requires internet. So for instance, we have still poor power supply, internet facility are still very shaky. We don't have good bandwidths and all of this. These things will tend to withdraw some of these growth that we're expecting in the next 3 years. And then again, we can also have what's it called, other sectors being finances pumped into other sectors to rival what we currently have in the world of technology. That also can actually affect this growth that we see here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Lashe, for that. Okay, well, moving forward, from slide, we can see, based on your assessment of the Nigeria software automation space, would you say that the demand for automation business analysts, implementation manager, solution architect outweighs the supply currently available? And this question I'll be going on everyone, all the panelists, but we're starting with Lashe again. Lashe, what would you say to this? Would you say the demand is higher than the supply? Yes or no?
For me, the demand is, it goes both ways. I'll say yes and no. Because we honestly have a lot of automation engineers, software engineers, developers out there, right? But it will now be in terms of, they will now start, we have to start looking at skill sets, looking at experience, right? I know for amongst us, when it comes to the...
Sorry to cut you short. I don't want to go too far. So
all right.
you said no. I will give you the opportunity to give us the reason for that later. So let's hear from that person.
So Lashe, it's a yes from you, right?
He said yes and no.
Oh, yes.
Undecided. He said yes and no. So let's hear from Bukola.
Let's hear from Bukola. Yeah, actually, let's hear from Bukola. What do you think? Demand is higher than supply, right?
I agree. Demand is higher than supply.
Demand is higher than supply. Thank you. Lade, what do you think about that? Demand higher than supply?
Demand is higher than supply.
Demand is higher than supply. Kingsley, what will you say to that? Demand is higher?
Supply is higher.
Supply is higher. Okay.
Supply is higher.
Okay. Tolu?
I think it's a yes and no. So it's a niche thing. You have a lot of developers who might not be catered to your niche.
Okay. So if we want to be more specific and say automation professionals, people are involved with or business automation, whether it's in BP or ROP, if we can focus on that and just leave the regular software developers out for now.
Yes.
If we leave them out, the demand is higher than the supply.
Oh, actually, we are speaking to RPA, BPM, not core software developers. So, Lashe, for you, it's going to be yes, right?
Yes, the demand is higher. I would go with you for just sticking to the BP and RPA.
Oh, okay.
Demand is higher. So everybody kind of agrees that the demand, right, is higher than the supply.
Apart from
I do not agree.
Kingsley doesn't agree to that.
Okay, I think it's interesting.
Let's start with Kingsley.
Let me reiterate my point. Okay,
let's
so by demand being higher, we mean that companies are looking for these automation professionals and they are not seeing them. That's why the demand. That's what you mean by the demand being higher. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I disagree with that. Based on my own experience, you have a lot of people that are available. Now, the reason why the demand is not high is because companies have not even started recognizing the potential of automation in itself. Now, naturally, it would be like software development. It would be like when UI UX started and companies were not valuing it until suddenly everybody was concerned about if your button was rounded or you had dark screen mode or responsive design. So it's basically that trajectory that we're going through for automation. Right now, companies don't know that they need us. And you have a lot of people slaving away. Okay, maybe I'm speaking specifically to Power Platform. You have a lot of people that are grinding day and night to develop this skill set. And you don't have a lot of offers on the table. A lot of quality offers on the table. So I would not agree that the demand is higher. Sorry, yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, so you're not going to agree.
I'm not going to agree. No, I'm not going to agree. I will say the demand is less.
But again, you're speaking from the Power Platform perspective.
Yes, right? I am speaking from that. Yes.
So, which means they might be some form of imbalance between the various technologies that are available in software. So maybe for the UiPath guys, they would say the supply is more than the demand. Am I correct, Lashe? Because you are trying to say
Okay, I think we lost Afede. So Lashe, I guess what he was trying to ask you is, you said yes to demand is higher than supply, right?
Yes, I did. So why I said the demand is higher than supply is that's why my first answer was yes, and this is it. It's yes because in the RPA space, in Nigeria especially, we've had a lot of recycling, right, amongst the community. Whatever business is saying. They want an organization wanting a robotics process automation engineer. We don't. It's still amongst ourselves. I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing of pride. Though I know that I did speak to a couple of us here, and I was saying that there is no RP developer that if they call for any interview that I would not know. I would not know about. I would not know the person. I know so. Because of thing is, if I don't know the person directly, I can just make one call and I'm going to get
Exactly.
the information of the person.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
so that in itself shows that yes, the demand that we have in the institution in the industry today is higher, right? And I understand Kingsley's point of view because of in terms of if you know for RP for instance, as long as you've been able to you've gone through the training process, you've also automated like say 3, 4, 5 processes, especially in the financial industry, you will notice that what you have to do maybe is the mode of implementation that could change. However, everybody in the industry is doing reconciliation. Everybody in the industry is doing settlement. So that skill set is you can be experienced in 1 year, right? But for the Power Platform, because I also have that in my purview, the Power Platform, there can always be new, what's it called, new features. I want a portal, I want a flow, I want something that is. We also experienced it when it came to Process Maker. Each organization, even if they want to build the same thing like customer onboarding or account opening, there is still something that is still unique.
That is
to
unique,
them.
yeah.
So you still have to you now need a world of experience there, right? But for an RPA developer, settlement, I don't know, I've gone through like 3 financial institutions and we've done not on us reconciliation. And anytime I see it, I just smile. I conducted an interview. Somebody came, said I did not on us. I was like, okay, tell me about your not on us. So that kind of thing. So that's why it is like that. That's my own point of view.
Thank you, Lashe, for that. Okay, I'm just going to take Lade, and the reason why I want to take I want Lade to give me from the perspective of business analyst, solution architect. Lade, your own answer was also yes, right?
Yes, it was yes.
Okay, so what do you think are the factors for demand? For demand being higher than supply?
I would, riding on what Lasha said, I would also say a lot of people are not that disciplined to learn the works. So if I want an RPA developer, I want a software architecture. What Lasha said, by the time you do 3 or 3, you are experienced. However, you are not grounded in the sense of the process flow or the exceptions that the banks have to put in place as policy. So you see that people they learn it, but they don't have the depth. So it's those few that learn the depth in terms of how do I meet the business need, not just doing the development. So that's why you see when I do an interview with somebody, say I've done autonomous. Okay, so how does it work? Say I just get the file. Why did you get the file? He doesn't have that depth. So at that interview point, you're already out of the skill set that we need. So we just don't need people that are dummies, that are acting like the bots you are trying to automate. We need the human sense. So even if the market space might be increasing because people are learning, we also need you to also imbibe in the depth. So the demand is still high because I just don't want to employ anyhow developer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think Afe is back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. So we have a trend that is prevalent outside of Africa. I began to notice that in 2020, during the COVID period, discovered that we have, especially when we began to have low-code automation tools. I know we have that in Power Apps, but UiPath came about with Studio X, right? And we began to see a flock, business professionals flock into becoming citizen developers, business analysts, project managers, and even people who were not even in IT roles at all, transition into being citizen developers. So from the report, we're told that 29% of the persons who were respondents to the survey were females. Then about 57 of them have at least 6 years of experience before transitioning into becoming citizen developers. But before I go on to speak on some other statistics on the screen, I want to ask Bukola this question. Why is this not the case in Nigeria? Is it that these individuals abroad, these individuals in Americas, in Europe, in Asia, the business professionals, is it that it's just their interest, they want to expand their skills? Or is it that it's a corporate thing, is a corporate culture within Nigeria that is limiting our business professionals from transiting into automation? What are your thoughts?
Okay, thank you, Afe. I think first of all, I would say there is this imbalance. So it's not like in Nigeria we do not totally have business professionals that are also striving to be citizen developers. It just might not be as high as what we have out there in other countries, right, to start with. And I think a major point for me would be that in Nigeria, we have a system where, or we like call it a culture where corporate business professionals have their targets when it comes to what they're supposed to achieve within their workspace. So you have project managers that are trying as much as possible to be project managers, managing 10, 15 projects, and they know they're supposed to get certifications with regards to their project. So the time frame or the time left for them to develop themselves, it has to be an internal thing. It has to be a personal decision to say, okay, I think in order to learn this, in order to be able to be a good project manager when it comes to automation, I need to be a citizen developer as well. So without that personal insight, personal development skill, they'll just tend to focus on what they've been called to do, which is the project management, which is not bad, right, in itself. It's a good thing if you are, skilling up in your own particular space. However, it takes when you also mingle, network, and talk to people, attend conferences. That's when you discover that, oh, this person is a project manager, also knows how to, even if it's drag and drop, as they say, can drag and drop. And then it gives you a wider knowledge, gives you a broader knowledge into what can be done differently as a project manager or as a business analyst. So for me, it's not like Nigeria is completely not there. We have people that are thriving. We have project managers. The will is there. Maybe the system doesn't now give you that privilege to be able to achieve it when it comes to citizen development. But again, it has to do with your personal self.
So in your own opinion, you are saying it's much more of the corporate environment that limits individuals because they are burdened with so much targets, their KPIs do not give them the freedom to expand their skills, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes, alongside with the fact that most people might not have this knowledge. They don't have the knowledge that, oh, you can actually be a project manager and a citizen developer and make things better for you. Yeah.
I think Lashe has something to say about this. Lashe, what do you have to tell us?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting one, being a citizen developer. And why it is like you said, first I agree that it has to come from the corporate culture that we currently have, right? So we already need the mentality to drive technology into our daily activities is necessary, right? In some of these countries outside Africa, I think I heard about is it Toyota, but one car manufacturing company. No matter your role, the first thing you do is when you get into the organization is that you pick something that should be different in the car manufacturing stuff. So even if you're an accountant, you don't know anything about cars, before you go to your seat every morning, you're supposed to just try to be innovative towards the production of how the next car should look like, right? So that is something that you can now equate that to being a citizen developer. So you can be a project manager, you can be a business analyst, you can be a settlement and reconciliation officer, you can be an auditor, anything, right? And if it's being adopted, if this the being a citizen developer is adopted in that organization, then that's what it will be, right? I would like to say that we need to have a paradigm shift from being from trying to work with projects to work with products, right? If you look at the likes of same international companies, Google, Facebook, and the likes, you see that what they have is they have an agile team that are trying to work on products. So your products could be services, it could be an actual tangible thing that you're pushing out there, right? In between that team, each product that you work on, you assume a different role. So maybe on this product, you are the business analyst. On this other products that you're serving to a client, you can be the developer. On this other one, you can be the scrum master, right? So I think is majorly a corporate culture thing that can drive the adoption of this particular citizen developmental what's it called now? So I think that's
so I want to drag Kingsley into this discussion. I want to ask Kingsley, would you support an increase in citizen developers in Nigeria? Or do you think that if we have an increase in this rule, that it will be good for the space? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I will support it 100% because we need more people to get involved. While Tolu was speaking, while Bukola was speaking, I wanted to chip in something that if something is popular, especially I was looking for a way to coin this, but automation will really take a center stage, or innovation will take the forefront of the Nigerian corporate structure if we have that reward system that encourages people to keep coming up with innovative ideas. What you keep having is people trying to be innovative, and you have the existing structure trampling on that innovation, telling them to take their time, to chill a little bit. You have professionals that they've been doing something in the same way for 10 years, and they just want to try something. But the management is not encouraging it because, I don't know, maybe they are afraid, there's no affinity for stuff like that. So I'm encouraging citizen development mainly because the more people get into this, the more it shapes our mindset to start thinking towards allowing innovation, allowing more people get involved in these software industry. Because the more people that get involved, the more we have more solutions coming up. Because at the end of the day, whether be it core software, automation, or low code, the demand will always be more than the supply. I'm talking generally now, not our formal argument. So companies will always want more. They will always be looking for the next solution that works for them better than the last one. So the more Nigerians get involved, the better it is for us. No matter how chaotic it will be at the first time, but yeah, it's just better.
Okay, so in other words, corporate-wise, we need to tone down this idea of you are not challenged. When you are doing something outside your KPIs, you are not challenged. Okay, there's something on the screen here. It says 63 are very satisfied with their career in software automation. But when they compare the responses from core developers and citizen developers, we're told that business professionals had lower levels of satisfaction than developers. So I want to direct this question to Ladi. Why do you think this happens? Why do you think business professionals who are part of the software automation space have lower levels of satisfaction compared to developers and solution architects?
Okay, thank you for that question. I was shocked when you asked me. I won't deny that because for me, I don't want to spoil anybody's mindset, but for me, I believe that the developers are the foot soldiers. So if I say developer today, I don't know, maybe because I don't see a management person writing code. So I see them as people that are foot soldiers, and maybe why they would do that survey and people will say, oh, I'm more satisfied than a business professional would be they have more opportunities. So for me as a project manager or a team lead, maybe you're having just one or two in my position, but for a developer, I can employ maybe 6 or 7 of them. So when they are hopping or they are moving to another organization, they would see the vacancy and they will be glad that they could easily move. So Then they could also see it from an angle of when you're having a maths issue that you need to solve and you crack that problem.
Yeah, you
It
feel
could
that
also be an
satisfaction.
exciting, yes,
Like
you get satisfied doing that. But for every one of us that are acting up for business professionals, we also have our joys that we align with. So if you don't like what you are doing as a person, not even a professional, as a developer, you would not be satisfied in whatever area you are given to. So even if you're a project manager and you can boast that you did the first mobile app, if you are not happy in what you are doing, you'll still not be satisfied in that realm. Many people know that it's not just my job that gives me joy and it's not tied to what I do. So I don't know who and who will fill those surveys, but I love what I do. I love asking how far. How far.
okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lade, for that. Okay, so question 6, basically, we cannot overemphasize reskilling, upskilling, learning, and all of that. So Afi, can you show the next slide? Let's look at this chart. Yeah, we have people saying that video tutorials 69% and all of that. So, but then I'm going to ask, I'm going to start with Tolu. Nice, Tolu. Concerning continuous development, what are your top 3 preferences here? Let's start with Tolu. Tolu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So for me, I would say documentation, right? It's top on my list. There is, well, self-paced online courses. And the last one, I would like to say local and virtual meetups, even though it might not be formal, right? But I think that would be my top 3.
Oh, great. Thank you. Bukola, would you love to share yours?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Top of my list would be video tutorials. I don't like reading. I don't like reading documentation. So I prefer that I watch videos and hands-on and follow you through. And I think second would be online forums. The third would be maybe local and virtual meetups, because there and then I can ask questions and get live answers. But top of my list.
I think we need to do more with local and virtual meetups. Then Bukola, you said your online forum. I hope you've also been participating well with our UiPath forum in our community.
Yes.
Thank you. Lashe, would you love to share yours? No problem. Thank you, Bukola. Lashe, would you love to share yours with us?
Yes. For me, I think yes, video tutorials might be first.
You don't like reading too?
I don't like reading. I think, but then again, it depends on the aspects, right? So when you see continuous learning, so you have like the basics already, and then you just want to, you're trying to do a particular feature and all of that. So yes, documentation, so to speak, you can just call on your documentation. Once you Google it, you see something, and then as long as you can read through and you see a step-by-step graphical presentation, that also
like much more of a visual person.
Yes, much more of a visual person. So then I'll say that's why I would say what's it called, the video tutorials. But I will also pick video tutorials just because for some reason I think it had to do with the COVID. We've not been having a lot of in-person training. I think in-person training also helps us keep focus and all of that. During my time when I was training to become a robotics engineer, it was in-person training and I enjoyed it. I feel like it has also aided me. I was focused, I knew what I was doing, and I could get corrected on the spot, not go to sleep on a bus that was not running properly. That kind of thing. Because I can remember we were supposed to close by 6, we will still linger till like 8 just because we want to make sure it runs, right? So I think I prefer the in-person training also for me.
Yeah, thank you, Lasha, for that. Thank you. over to Kingsley. Kingsley, would you love to share yours?
I think, unlike everybody else, my least favorite is video tutorial because I'm very impatient.
Oh, wow.
Show me, show me what you want me to do, and let me copy it. And like, just give me the words. Let me read it and go straight to the point. Don't waste my time.
So code templates. You are very fine with code templates.
Yes, I would actually believe. I would actually prefer that. So documentation, definitely. Blogs, blog posts. I like to read some people's work, and they also go in depth even more than the videos would. And then yes, in-person training, because really some things that you might not be inspired to do unless you are responsible to somebody else and they have to ask you how far. Like Ladi likes to ask. So by the time you know somebody's going to ask you how far, you'll be very, very committed to making sure you finish what you need to do. Video tutorials are nice, but they're not my top three.
That's not your
Okay, why we ask Ladi for our own preference. I don't know if the participants can also drop on the charts what they prefer from what we have on this chart here. Okay, Ladi, would you love to share yours?
I have my own is starting from in-person. Because
in-person person.
I'm telling you, my own learning stemmed from a very accountable boss that expects that when you learn something once, you should get it. So I was this kind of person. I was still telling my colleagues just today, I said, when I started my career as, I think, a dumb ops person. So we used to book investment. When that person books, I'll say, did you make a mistake on this particular booking? She'll say no. I'll say, okay, let me screenshot it. This is my notebook. I'll take it and staple that screenshot on my book. And I'll say, let me post the other one. She'll say, no, you have not learned anything. I'll say, let me just post it. It's copy and paste now. So I'll look at I won't ask her. I'll look at it. If she says it's okay, I'll post and I'll move on. The next day, she had a trigger. She was pregnant. She had a trigger and she just went for a maternity. From the next day, she just went for a maternity. I'm telling you, I did that work the next day till she resumed. For 5 years, no, I stayed there 2.5 years. For 2.5 years consecutively, I was getting best staff. So I would actually get the knowledge from you. So I want to be an in-person. I want to be able to ask you this question and you tell me, I'll write it down. So that's me. Then the next one might be maybe local or virtual meetings. Then the last one will be documentation. For video, many a times I watch it like a movie.
So what we are seeing, Lade and Kingsley, they are in one set. And there's match between Lachey and Kingsley as well. Then every other person is on the other side. Okay, that's nice.
Safi, it's the video tutorial that watch them.
I want to say something. I want to actually add
I
want to top in-person training. I didn't say that. I mean, I'm a teacher, I'm a learner. What better way to pass knowledge and even receive knowledge if not in-person training? And I know people on the call can attest to me that if I did not have in-person training while learning, UiPath 2, learning how to use UiPath 2 and start to my career, I don't know, maybe I'll be good, but maybe not this jigger. So I feel in-person training goes a long way for me.
Okay, thank you, Bukola, for sharing that. Finally, I would love to, for this points, I would love to ask Tolu Fash. In general, how significant do you think local virtual meetup events are to automation professionals in Nigeria? Like, how do you, in general, how significant do you think virtual meetup and to automation professionals in Nigeria?
I think it's very important, and I think it's one of the reasons why we need to make our community more engaging, right?
Okay.
Reason being that today, right, when things pop up, right, and there's something I need to do or something I'm thinking about, the first thing I do is mostly I call some of the guys on the calls here, ask them, have you done this before? Do you know about this? Have you seen this? And you find out that some people are already doing some stuff you don't know about, right? I work in the financial service sector. I've only worked in the bank since I started my career. I have someone like Lashe on the call who works with InterSwitch, right? They are financial services, but they do something different. You have Bukola who works, it's a consulting company. They see more things, right? We are looking at settlements, reconciliation. If you're lucky, say, you need to automate some things for credits or HR or things like that. But for someone that does consulting, they've seen things across different industry and sectors, and they probably have had a request come from somewhere else saying we need to do this. Can you help us with this? They research about it, they implement it. Next time they are proposing me to say maybe financial sector, right? So when you have this kind of meetups, you kind of rub ideas and you hear about things people are already doing. Probably you are thinking about it and you don't know how to go about it. And then you find out there are like 3 steps ahead of you. Easily you have someone to handhold you through that process, and it kind of encourages you. So that meetup, it really needs to happen so that at least we are aware of what's happening in our horizon, and then we can also help build each other.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fash, for that. Afe, you want to say something?
Yeah, before I move on to the next discussion point, Abdul Wahid on the chat said his top 3 will be video tutorials, online forum, and in-person mentorship. Martin's documentation, video tutorials, self-paced online courses. Then we have Lamina, video tutorials, documentation, and online forum. Emmanuel Adeola, mentorship, documentation, and video. We have Ogunle Solomon, his own choices are video tutorial, documentation, and self-paced learning. Then we have Molu Adari, self-paced has been the most helpful, online forums too, and then in-person and online mentorship. So at this point, let's continue the conversation. Now, respondents, this question was meant only for developers, and they picked SQL, SQL, Python, and VBA as the 3 top programming languages or skills they feel automation developers should have in addition to their RPA platform knowledge, whatever it is, whether it is Microsoft Power Platform, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, UiPath, and so on and so forth. Their top 3 was SQL, Python, and VBA. So I want to start with Lashe before I go to Bukola on this. I would say, do you agree? Because the reason why I'm asking again, I know Tolu has always been in the financial sector. Bukola has been in the financial sector and now in the consulting sector. So would you agree that these 3 are the top skills any RPA developer should have in addition to their knowledge or whatever RPA platform they are using?
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree.
Okay. Okay. So now let me go on from there. Before I come back to you, I want to ask Bukola. Okay. Bukola, do you agree or disagree?
Bukola. I totally agree. There's a condition as well, but I totally agree.
Okay. So what's your condition? Will enlighten us.
I think it will depend on the it will depend on the tool, the automation
the platform, the RPA platform you're using. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. But with regards to what we have currently on the call, so yes, I agree.
Okay. So let me skip to the 2 of you. I'll go with you, Bukola, first, and then to Lashe before I go on to other persons. Now, I want to say, are there other skills apart from what you can see on the screen? Because we have SQL, Python, VBA, .NET, and C#. Are there other skills you think automation developers should have, apart from programming skills, software, soft skills as well? Because even though you are a developer, you need to deal with other persons within the organization you work. So, and some persons are also clients or customer facing or business facing. So apart from these 5 you see on the screen, what other programming skills and soft skills would you suggest?
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Afe. So I was not saying C#. Maybe that's why I was saying it depends on the tool and the condition. So yes, with these 5 technical skills, it's fine. Programming languages, it's fine. I'm okay with it. But when it comes to non-technical skills, that's the soft skills as a developer, I would say the first is communication. Most developers don't let me categorize, but we have quite a number of developers that need to know how to communicate properly, right? I'm speaking as a developer in this case, right? I feel that when we're able to communicate properly to say this is not, most developers just get, it's garbage in, garbage out, which shouldn't be, right? When you have a requirement that has been given to you and you've gone through the requirement, maybe during your process design stage, and you feel this is inadequate, or just pick up. It's not fight. That's the first thing. It is nobody, we're working together, right, for a particular organization. And so you should be able to communicate articulately to your co-developers or the managers or your scrum master, whoever is responsible, right, to give you the adequate information that is needed. Then you should be able to communicate. The second is empathy, right? And I think I'll just stop at that due to time. The second is empathy. Most developers, again, I do not want to categorize, but we need to do better when it comes to being empathetic, right, towards one another, towards the business owners. You see, I'm a developer. I'm going to give a practical example. I love coding at odd hours, which I believe most developers do like doing. So right at that odd hours, I discovered that I need an information, and I don't want to really know where you are. Just, dear so, please send in. The person doesn't send in. The next morning, the manager is up to me to say, what's going on? Like, you've not seen my mail. Did you see my mail yesterday night? Hello, bro, we've closed for the day. Did you get? So I know that where I used to work, there is this particular phrase that my boss usually say, that your skill set will get you the work. It's your character that will keep you on the job. So if we have technical skills, I mean, I know of a developer that is very good. This person is extremely good. When it comes to, I go to the person for whenever there's a bug and I need help and all of that. But at the same time, when it comes to character, we are still growing, we are still developing. We all have our flaws, but the ability to learn from an identified flaw and become better at it is it. So when it comes to non-technical skills, I think developers need to learn how to communicate clearly, articulately. That's very important, not just communicate. I mean, I can be shouting at someone and in my mind, I'm communicating. So you need to learn how to communicate articulately and also be empathetic. Just try to be reason from another person's perspective. It helps you achieve your work better and also in a seamless manner.
Okay, Lashe, what programming skills, one programming skill and one soft skill you think a RP developer should have, in addition to what you see on the screen?
Oh, in addition to what another programming skill?
Or you think everything is just contained? This very list is adequate?
Well, right now, maybe my mind is just narrowed into UiPath. If it's narrowed into UiPath, I'm very fine with these, right?
Okay.
And the reason is because I think with an addition, if you have any of these skills as an addition to the UiPath tool, it means that I would expect that the efficiency of your code would be top notch. Yeah, it would be top notch because of, instead of you doing data table manipulations, you're probably doing it, writing a stored procedure on the database, right, using your SQL script. If you have to do batch scripting and all of that, or you're trying to do some things on the server, you can use that on using Python, and then using the invoke code, you can use either the VB or C#, right? And that lump sum just gives a more efficient approach rather than just the elementary drag and drop, right?
Okay.
Yes. So that.
Sorry to interject. I would like to bring in Kings from the point of view. If there are additional skills, programming skills, we want to encourage our listeners to have.
So yeah, this one's actually suffice. The other ones are non-technical, to be honest. This is enough. Like Lashe said, if you have these things, you greatly increase your productivity and how much you can actually do. And for the people listening who are just starting, these skill sets would take you from being like intermediate or junior to being a senior developer immediately. Immediately you can play with any of these things. In this space, I'm not talking about core development. In the automation space, immediately you can play with these things in an efficient level. You're already senior because your productivity is not compared to other people just sticking to the tool, sticking to the core tool and saying they are doing drag and drop. No, it won't work. So yeah. Then for non-technical, I would say I'm going to tap into what Ladi said when we're talking about demand and supply. You must be value oriented because it's not just that you know the tool, you must know how to create value from that tool. And I feel like maybe that is precisely what separates a lot of good automation professionals from others. You must know how to look for what is wrong and look for the solution to what is wrong, fix it, and see that you have a solution that works. So that value-driven mindset is really important.
Okay, so I want to bring in Tolu here now, lastly, and ask, based on your experience, because you led teams across multiple organizations when it comes to software automation or the automation space. So since you've been a leader across multiple organizations, I want to ask, would you say it is common for automation developers in Nigeria to be well-versed in these additional skills? Or in your opinion, do you think a majority of persons are in the space are just tied to only knowledge within the RPA tool or platform they are using?
Okay, thanks for that question. And I think this is common to everywhere I've worked, and it might be something that comes from the top or say from colleagues. And I would like to tie it to the question that was directed to Kingsley about citizen developers. Sometimes I ask myself, if we have more citizen developers, are we not threatened? But then I remember that a citizen developer will drag and drop, and probably you have an Excel that has 750 rows, and you try to use the read range, and then something, the process breaks, right? That's where we come in. Right? I don't think it's necessary that you have these skills when you're starting, right? But immediately you start, you have to be open to adding on these skills. And I know for a fact that for everywhere I've been as well, it's been a common trend that everybody is at least versatile in, say, at least two of this, right? In addition to being able to use the normal activities on the platform itself. But at least basics, there's no way you can escape not knowing SQL, right? And you most likely will need a VB or C# in addition to it for you to do anything effective in terms of automation. Otherwise, you are going to be producing ineffective automations.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Tolu, for that. Yeah.
Sorry, Manu, I'd like to add one final soft skill.
Yeah, let's hear
everybody has talked about the hard one that I think we can all learn on YouTube, because some BAs already have knowledge of all this. But I think the ones that we need that are really important, that I think it comes with maturity and we have to build it, is where I want either a BA, project manager, or a developer to have is time management. It's very, very key. So I'm of an opinion that I come to you and say, oh, please, we want to do this project. These are the requirements, right? And I say, give me a ballpoint figure on how long it would take to do this. I would prefer a developer saying, please, can I get back to you? Or can I find out from somebody more experienced? Or can I try it for 1 or 2 days and get back to you on the actual time? Than a developer that wants to show me that he has skills and messes my work up. So he says, oh, don't worry, I'll get it done in a week. And I'm like, don't try this with me. Then after 2 weeks, he still say, you know what, something came up and I need developers to grow. It's not just about the technical skills. I think developers, you see well, let me not say age and maturity is the same. So it doesn't seem I'm insulting some people, but I feel people should go with that maturity. So it's like saying own your stuff. They don't want to say you want to be a developer. So give me the time that you used to and stick to it. So time management is key because I know many of those things. People just say, "I'll do it in 2 weeks." Then maybe it's the night before they are trying to fix it and they can't meet up with the time. You understand? So that's what I want
Tolu
to
is
add.
raising his hand.
Tolu is raising up his hand.
It's the time
Let's have
management
you.
you
Let's have
mentioned.
you.
That's why
Classic BA, classic
As
BA
no,
developer.
I'm not disagreeing with like I'm not disagreeing with like, but I think a better cheat is learning stakeholder management, right? I know a couple of us knows people that when it's time to give updates, they are the king, right? They know how to manage the expectations of their stakeholder. Why it's not, it won't always get you out of a situation, but if you have your stakeholders, right, always with you, always in the loop of everything, right, that they need to know, you also need to manage the information that they have, right? If you have it on check, you would most say 90% be fine, right? I think that's also key.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Tolu.
Yeah, thank you for that one, sense. Thank you so much. Okay, so to the next discussion. So I would love to give a background to this. Really, there are so many things that frustrate developers. Tester used to frustrate us. Project manager used to frustrate us. In fact, everybody frustrates us because most times we work like Bukola said. She said she loved coding at night and waking up in the morning by let's say 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. trying to beat Lagos traffic. One tester or one business analyst is giving you incomplete documentation. It just gets you peace. So really, I wanted us to just go through this chart. Thank you, Afi, for this. We can see from last year, some people told us why some of the biggest frustrations that they get in achieving their work in automation. And the same thing again, 2023, the same set of frustrations. Documentation is not complete. You are asked to automate what is not optimized and all of that. It's difficult to get what you need from business. So I wanted to ask, and I'm going to start with Bukola. And the reason I'm starting with Bukola because she's in the consulting firm presently. Bukola, can you hear me? Before I ask my question, let me confirm that. Oh, thank you. So these three challenges, let's pick the first three. Does it resonate in your industry presently, in the consulting industry?
Yes.
Which one of them resonates with you?
Valid.
Very much valid. Which one of them? Can you give me one? If you pick one,
So if I'll pick one, I think top one will still be what is top here. Documentation is incomplete or inaccurate.
That seems to be very
okay. Over to Lade. And the reason why I'm asking Lade is because she's a project manager and
Lade needs to answer. I feel
she needs to answer the question. I know the people I'm asking this question. Which one?
Wait, may I just say, I wanted to say something.
Okay, Lashe, let's have you.
And it's more of a question.
Okay.
and the question is, I think for BPA and RPA, if I don't know any better with the level of experience I've amassed now, I would actually feel like the most key person to the success of the whatever project or product they are working on is the business analyst.
We started that in our last session, last event.
Yes, when we had business analyst session.
So it's the business analyst. And for my level of experience again, I have still not seen a process. I've been picked up by auditors and whatnot. I've still not seen a process that what is built is documented for whatever is what. It has always been top notch. So I don't think that out there.
Lasha, I agree with you. Actually, most of the things that we develop are not always documented. Okay, so Lade, I want you to answer this question. Which one of from this topic. Which one do you think
Jesus
frustrates
Christ.
developers? No, you can't be frustrated. But which one do you think frustrates developers?
Oh no, program managers too can be frustrated. They can also be frustrated.
Okay, I agree. I
No,
agree.
I've addressed my own frustration. I've addressed my own frustration earlier when I said you need to
Yes.
learn time management. Okay, so I agree with these first 3 points, so it's fine. However, I would um I would put it to every one of us in this forum to say, when I say documentation is incomplete or inaccurate, there's a first step to that, and the next step is what Lasha said, that whatever comes at the end of the day is not what you developed. So I ask a simple and valid questions. When I was at the early stage of my BA work, I didn't even used to take my developers to the meeting, so I would come back my documentation and sit communicate to other differently. So you saying a developer wrote a code this way, the other developer will understand. Let's not say this is not a documentation, this is a code alignment. I've had that several instances to say, oh, what that guy wrote, I don't understand it. This is not documentation. So it's a means of communication, it's a document to communicate to you. So the most important thing for us to do first and foremost is I am not a person to say I want to take my developer there necessarily to listen in, but it has to be in between the two of us. So how do you want me to express? This is how I've expressed it. How do you want me to express the documentation? So if I just write it blanketly, I as the B I understand, but I didn't write it ABC for you to understand. So I agree there. There's a documentation incomplete or inaccurate. Yes, it happens, but that's where the engagement comes, and that's where the maturity comes. And by the time you get to know each other very well and grow, then you find out that, oh, you didn't put this in, but the developer is wants to do boss guy. He has already started coding. No understand it, say where they go, oga. So I understand the frustration, really, but it's a communication is documentation is a communication artifact, and it's a two-way thing. We agree. So for the next one, which Lashes says it's not what the auditor meets at the end of the day that was even deployed to live. Many people can bear me witness. Maybe the BA is too busy, so let me put it on the BA or the
So
developer.
sorry to interject. What if we now pick up, I have too much work to do. So you have one BA attending to 15 developers.
No,
That
it
could also,
happens. No, that's
that's
why I said the BA is busy. That's why I said that happens. The BA is busy. Then you don't dada. You now call the user. Please, what should I put here? You now develop it, and it's not in the BRD. Now push it to life. So most of the time, people want to bypass it, maybe because of time, or maybe because the users have come and said this is an exigency. I know many times I will call the developer and say, guys, don't build anything behind our back. We still have to go through CMC. Do you now want me to start the process again? So please carry me along. If a user sends you an email or a chat, please speak to my BA. That helps with the documentation. Then the next one is I get asked to automate processes that aren't optimized or suitable for automation. That one is difficult because the people that want you to automate it believe that it should be automated. So let me give you an instance today, just today. So it's not an old story. Everybody knows that when you want to, like, there's a core banking application, and there are third-party applications that speak to them. Maybe some people will understand, some people will not understand. So when I'm posting from RPA to FlexCube, or I'm posting RPA to QBasic or something, another banking application, it's the name of the application that appears. But user has come to meet me to say, I want my name as a user to appear. And there's nothing possible with IT. So please go and fix it. So you write the requirements as you understand it as a BA and give it to the developer to be ruminating. Since it's 2 a.m., they like ruminating. They'll get the solution one way or the other. So that's just a joke.
We need to pick up. We are short of time.
Okay, no problem. So I guess, yes, those issues come up and we'll try and fix it up with training. Thank you. And communication.
Okay. So quickly, I'm going to just need one person. Bukola, I just need one person to answer this question. Sorry, we are out of time. We need to really quickly wrap up. Now, emerging tech, to take this to Kingsley and Bukola, this question. We have emerging technologies that are coming up, AI, CV, computer vision, tools like ChatGPT. Microsoft now has co-pilots. Then most recently, we had Wingman for UiPath Studio Web. These emerging technologies continue to influence automation adoption globally. So my question, one, to Bukola would be, do we have similar trends in Nigeria? And then to Kingsley, how can Nigerian automation professionals stay ahead of the curve with all these emerging technologies? Let's quickly take that. So Bukola, the question is, do we have similar trends in Nigeria?
Yes, first, to be very specific, yes, we do have similar trends in Nigeria. We see it in upcoming technologies, we see it in startups, bringing new ideas and trying to integrate. We also see it in companies even going ahead to say, we are aware that you can use AI to achieve this. I got that even this week. I'm aware that you can use CV to achieve this. So how can we leverage on that? So yes, we do have that in Nigeria.
Okay, so Kingsley, how can Nigerian automation professionals stay ahead of the curve in terms of these emerging technologies that are to be used in addition with RPA to make traditional RPA become hyper-automation?
Okay, so you just have to learn them. You have to learn what they are capable of and learn how best to use them because they are not going anywhere. You can be in your house worried about whether ChatGPT will take your job. Or you're worrying it will take your job. But when you know how to use it, then you can now sell it. Because at the end of the day, whether you're writing C# like the god of C#, if you cannot sell it in terms of creating value, you will go extinct. So that is just learn it, learn how to use it, and learn how to create value from it. That's just it. You don't have a choice.
Okay, thank you. So quickly again, I want to take this discussion about point 10 to Tolu, Lashe, and Ladi. The reason why I'm really picking Ladi here because over time, I've known Ladi for quite a time, and she's always very passionate with young people learning technology. Now, the report places a spotlight on students, and we see that 53% have heard about RPA via a college course. We know 80% plan to, or they have taken a college course about software automation. We have 63% that are considering a job in software automation, and so these statistics are there. The question is, why are we, so this question now would be to Tolu and to Lashe, since they have been team leads across multiple organizations. The question would be, if we consider Nigerian students, are these numbers we see on the screen close to what we are experiencing in Nigeria with Nigerian students as far as software automation is concerned, or are we much lower?
When it comes to RPA, I think we are much lower, and I think for example, Microsoft-based platforms, it's easy because everybody knows Microsoft, right? But for other things like UiPath and stuff I'm not sure the awareness is there. I know that in the past, Emmanuel he had a drive where they're taking it to students and things like that, right? Apart from that, our syllabus are outdated. So how are they going to learn about emerging technologies? So the gap, I think, is still very far from what the global stats is showing here.
Okay, so Lashe, what do you think can be done to get messaging about RPA to the student population in our tertiary institutions in Nigeria? I want you to just give us ideas what you think we can do, and then Larry will also come in and add our own before we jump into Q&A with the panel.
All right, thank you very much. So the idea just popped into my head, and I'm glad that Ladi is also an alumni of my school, right, Ladi? so the thing is, so what came to my head was something New Horizon did for private universities and maybe some other federal universities. I know that New Horizons, they had a partnership with the colleges and they had an establishment there. So while they were teaching you Fortran or COBOL in your regular syllabus, New Horizon was there to say, okay, come and learn hardware, come and learn Java, come and learn this, and it was a sort of
sorry to cut you short, Lashe, sorry to cut you short. Do you know we have an automation program by UiPath for tertiary institutions? It's prevalent in Asia, Europe, Americas. I know as from experience, Emmanuel can even testify to that. We reach out to certain lecturers in some universities in this country and polytechnics and tell them that UiPath has an automation program, but it's free. Resources, teaching, curriculum, free.
It's free.
And they are not interested. As long as there's nothing for them to personally gain.
Exactly.
Like, UiPath going to pay me? No, I'm not interested.
Exactly.
What can we do?
Honestly, if we have to drive it home from what you said, on days that there's nothing there's nothing in for them, right? So that's when the Nigerian factor comes to play, connections, right? So we're looking at colleges that already have influences in, and we can start with that, and hopefully testimonies can come from those universities. I, for one, I want to believe that in the Babcock space, I'm even sure Ladi also, we can all drive that, what's it called? Drive this discussion in our alumni, in our schools that we finish from. We can actually drive these discussions for the school to adopt the program offered by UiPath. I think this would actually really go a long way. We need to just look for a way to penetrate the colleges.
Okay, so before Ladi jumps into wrap that, before I then go to Q&A, UiPath, like I said, has academic alliance. And you know, one funny thing, I remember in 2021, I was privileged to be, can't remember the name of the school, but their business management, School of Business Management, they were teaching those in business management Studio X. It was something the school was doing. Even Bank of America came in to be partner with them to teach business managers Studio X. So, Lade, in addition to what Lashe has said, maybe we should even start from your school, your alumni. What should we do? Because this is a very serious matter. We need students in Nigeria to begin to have access to this knowledge and to this skill, like their counterparts in Asia and the rest. Last year, we had only one student champion from Nigeria. This year, we're not going to have any person. For all the persons I was trying to mentor, and again, you can't blame them. I mean, final year, I need to pass an exam and leave school. They don't even have time for that. So what can we do? How can we track those in year 1, year 2, and year 3?
Okay, I would just make it as brief as possible. So what's the end goal for each of these students? Their end goal is to get a job. So what are we doing in that trajectory? So I know company I work with partners with some training centers to employ people. So what are we doing in that line? So if we do a curriculum if you want to take them from part 1 to the final year, and you say, okay, at the end of when you finish school, you start an internship in this organization because the organization uses UiPath. That would also be an encouraging factor to the students, even before the lecturer says, oh, I don't have time to do that. So in that line, or why do you think people in accounting do ACCA? Because they're hoping that when they get the ACCA certification, they'll be employed as financial advisors in organizations that recognize that certificate. So we can also work in that line, in addition to what Tolu has said. Thank you. I don't take so much time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lovely, for that. Okay, so Afe, you want to say something?
No, you can go ahead. I think Ibrahim and Adari mentioned
yes.
You can start. Yeah, I'm going to the Q&A. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
we are moving to Q&A. But before we move to Q&A, I just wanted to say something from what the question Afi just asked. I think it's also important, Afi, I think it's also important to make the House know that part of our vision for next year is to storm university. So if you have ideas on how we can achieve this, please, you can always reach out to us and we'll work together. So we have questions.
We have some contributions from Ibrahim. He's saying that we can leverage on student associations like NACOS.
Oh, great. That's
then
true.
Oluwadari said, as mentioned, in-person mentorships are a very good way of learning. So would senior members of the panel be willing to organize in-person training and workshops, and how feasible will that be? To members of panels, you guys are here. The question is...
Yeah, I think that's a question. So let's just dive that to Bukola. Bukola.
Yes, it's a very, very tricky and direct question. I am putting us on the spot. So yes, the truth is we are always willing. Now, are you willing? Afe mentioned something when he said he was trying to coach a student and he was like, it's business. I've had cases where you say you want to start, but you don't even want to do the minimal thing. The list is go to UiPath and start UiPath Academy. So I'm like, no, let me just do that. So if we're talking about in-person training, let's not forget that we also have a busy schedule, our career that we're also trying to do as senior person. But one way you can help us out to help other people is when we say, okay, before the in-person training, right? Let's say before we meet physically, try and go through this so that when we meet, we're just leveraging on the knowledge that you already have. And then you come to class and you've not even done anything. Say, I'm sorry, I was busy. I mean, I was busy as well. So yes, we can organize in-person trainings, workshops. I would love to be a part of it, honestly speaking. But let the participants also take out time to do their bit.
Okay, thank you, Bukola. But before I ask the next question, I would love Kingsley to just say one or two things in 30 seconds, because I know they do well when it comes to Microsoft organizing in-person training. Kingsley, do you want to add one or two cents?
Okay, so Microsoft community has a lot of in-person activities. You have a lot of subgroups, and in terms for students, for schools, we actually have what we call the Microsoft Learn student, the ambassadorship program, where you have students act as ambassadors of Microsoft products and they organize their own trainings, they get themselves together. Then you have professionals that would visit them maybe monthly or once in a while, put them together, set up trainings, organize meetups. So it has been happening for a while. So basically, it has been happening for a while. But that's okay. How we keep it and keep them engaged.
Okay, thank you, Kingsley. So finally, let me ask the last question. I think the time is against us. Lashe, this question I will direct it to you. So why is RP not thriving in fintech? I know you are in that space. So do you want to debunk that, or do you want to say something about that?
Okay,
Lashe,
so
can you hear me?
yes, okay. I can hear you. Yes, so very quickly, I will say RP is thriving in fintech. However, I think I've seen a couple of names as participants on this call. We must have engaged in one sort of interview or the other. If you notice, questions that must have been channeled to you were not just RP specific, right? So this is a fintech company, more or less a technology company, right? So they are looking for something that can be more. So we're not just looking at RP. So we're looking at RPA, we're looking at BPA, and we're looking at your efficiencies on these programming languages that we know that can give us that can give us a more efficient output. Because of being a fintech, the number of customers, when we say number of customers, not just retail, we're looking at corporate customers now. And those corporate customers are also depending on, say, reports or answers from fintechs to now give to their own customers. They want the answer now. They want their answer accurately, and they just something like that. So we're not just dependent. We're not narrowing it towards RP. When I was also coming in, I was asked the same questions. I was just to see that if today they take you away from RP to do something slightly different, are you willing and able to? Right, that's just the question there. Is not RP is really, really thriving within the fintech space.
Okay, so thank you very much. So lastly, Please, to the members of our audience, if you know any person, any student in our tertiary institutions, polytechnics, universities, college of education, that has a little knowledge or some mastery of UiPath, please, they can register for the UiPath Student Champion Program. The link on the chat, and applications deadline is October 15th. What's today's date, please? Am I correct? Yeah, 2 days more. Today is 13th. Deadline is October 15th. You can help us share that. Okay, now let's wrap up. Everybody, please, all our panelists, we want to thank you for being here. But last words in 30 seconds, please. What advice will you give to anyone that wants to be an automation professional, career-wise? What advice will you give? 30, okay, let me give you 1 minute each. 1 minute each. So let's start from, who can go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So just ensure that you like learning. Just ensure that that's part of your skill, you like learning.
Yeah.
Because automation can be in diverse ways. So just ensure that if there's a certification I need to do to move up, ensure that you are not this kind of person that is redundant or likes being same as status quo. Thank you.
Okay, Lashe?
Okay, so for me, I would say trust the process, focus on solving the problem and not, I know that we are all young minds. We always want something best. So we're looking for the next best thing, right? Trust the process, focus on solving the problem. Every other thing would come later on. It might be you can even come as faster than you think.
Okay, thank you. Tolu, can we have you?
For me, I would say if you're coming in, just be open to learning, and also be about the solution, right? Not exactly about, don't be too concerned about how you're going to achieve it, right? Just be about the solution. You will find a way. Just be persistent about it. You will always find a way through it.
Okay, Bukola, can we have you? Bukola, can you hear me? Okay, let's have Kisley.
Okay, I think my own advice is like my boss used to say when I was still in the power sector. He says you must fall in love with solving problems, identifying problems. You must literally fall in love with looking for stuff that is wrong and finding a solution for it. You must love it above all things, even more than the salary you're being paid, because the excitement and the satisfaction from finally solving that problem would push you further than anything else. So you must love problems and you must love how to solve them.
Okay, thank you, Kisley. Bukola, can we have you now?
Yes, sorry about that. So I think my advice would be that again, for me, soft skills, right? As developers, let's try to be better with soft skills, right? The communication aspect, the empathy aspect. To reiterate what I said earlier, that my boss has said that, continues to ring in my head is, when you are good on the job, if you have acquired all these technical skills, you're a good problem solver, you're very innovative. I mean, companies can't do without you. One person can actually do without you once there is a character defect. So we want to, at every point in time, and it helps beyond the job, it helps beyond career, is that as we grow technically in the career, let's also grow in with regards to soft skills. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bukola. So before I allow Afi wrap up this session, I would love to say this. There is an initiative we are coming up with, not really an initiative, one of our vision for the community in the next few months. We want to get all UiPaths, all automation developers certified. So we are coming up with an initiative of, assisting, training, and all of that to get us satisfied from November. So just stay glued to your emails and all of that. You'll hear from us soon. I don't know if I want to add to that before wrapping up.
That's great, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for being here. First, our panelists. They are very busy guys. I want to appreciate the fact that they took their time to come and share the wealth of their experience with us. Thank you, Lade. Thank you, Tulu. Thank you, Lashe. Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Bukola. We really appreciate you. And for those that stayed with us from the beginning to the end, we appreciate you as well. If it's possible, can you just, if you can put on your camera for those who want to, would like to take a screenshot so that we can, for memory's sake, please. Are we ready? You can put on your screenshots, your camera rather, so that we can take a screenshot. Okay, so Emmanuel, can you help us take
Paul. I see my orgasm.
Okay, Emmanuel, please.
Okay, I'm taking the screenshot now in 5 seconds. Okay, I'm taking it now.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.